Hi BookTube, my name is Sarah and welcome to my channel, The Bookish Knitter. Today I'm coming to you with a weekly reads video. In these videos I share with you all of the books that I have finished over the last week, and I also share with you what I'm currently reading. Occasionally I will share with you what I am currently knitting, and as well any just general life chatty bits at the end. So no knitting for this week though, you guys. I have been working on a secret project and that has kind of taken up a lot of my time and a lot of my knitting time. And unfortunately, I just can't show it to you guys. So sorry about that. And I'm hoping that once it's done, when it makes its way to the recipient, I can share it with you guys then. So anyway, in these videos listed below in the there are timestamps listed below in the description box, sorry. And you can jump ahead to any book that you want to hear about, or if you want to jump ahead to my currently reading. So this might be a bit of a shorter video. I've got 4 books that I finished this week, so I'm super stoked about that. I want to talk about quickly the 2 books that I'm currently reading, and that's pretty much going to be it, you guys. Yeah, this is for, sorry, I forgot to mention, for January 17th through the 23rd, and this is week number 3 in 2021, so that's exciting. It's almost the end of January, you guys. Can you believe it? I cannot believe it. It's crazy, just crazy. So, the books that I read this week. We shall start off with Looking for a Cowboy by Donna Grant. I gave this one 3.5 stars. It is book number 5 in the Heart of Texas series, and this was a NetGalley read, so thank you very much to St. Martin's Press, the publisher, as well as the author for sending me an eARC copy for this one to review. This was originally published in October of 2020. So I was really excited about this one because I saw it had really great ratings on Goodreads, and this is an author I had not read before, and guys, I have to say, for romance, I was disappointed in this one. So if you look at the cover of this book, you're going to assume cowboy contemporary romance. That's pretty much what you're getting. But it wasn't. And me and my friends Bree and Chloe have been talking about this, that there are a lot of romantic suspense novels that are not being billed as romantic suspense when in fact they actually are. And this one, in my opinion, is definitely a romantic suspense. The main plot of this book is not the romance, and I think, and that's no fault of the author, that's clearly the fault of the marketing department and things like that. But it was essentially about a woman by the name of Marley, who, at the very beginning of the book, in the prologue, I talked about this briefly last week because I had started it last Sunday, that her twin sister was pregnant and was killed, and her baby was taken. Like, she hadn't given birth yet, but they killed her and took her baby. So it's all about, like, this adoption, baby smuggling, mother killing ring of bad people, and Marley has made it her life's work now to hunt these people out and to, you know, pretty much to catch them and stop them. So she ends up in this small town in Texas and she meets Cooper, and for him it's lust at first sight. You know, he sees her kind of in town and he thinks she's pretty hot and blah blah blah, and the two of them do end up having a relationship, a very physical relationship. This book does get very hot and spicy, but I just didn't buy the relationship. It felt like a secondary plot line. Like, it didn't feel like this is the main story. And I read a lot of romantic suspense, you guys. You know that. I love the intrigue novels. I love from Harlequin. I love the Harlequin romantic suspense titles. I love the love-inspired suspense. And they do such a great job of balancing both the romance and the suspense. This one, the suspense was far overshadowed. If I was reading this book strictly for the romance, I probably would have DNF'd it because I just didn't care. I found myself like actually skimming those parts of it and continuing to read, even though you do know there's no surprise as to who the bad guys are, if you will, because there are certain points of the book that are told from their perspective, which I really like as well. So as a romantic suspense, this book was fantastic. As a romance, not so much. So I had to drop it down to a 3.5 star. But I didn't want to go down to a 3 because it was really great writing and the characters were really good. I just couldn't buy into the romance. I'm sorry. The next book that I finished, I was clearly on some sort of a mystery kick, was Key Lime Pie Murder by Joanne Fluke. I gave this one 3 stars. This is book number 9 in the Hannah Swenson series, and I listened to this one on audio, and it was narrated by Susan Torin, who does all of the key lime pie, all of the Hannah Swenson series. So 3 stars on this one. I do still love this series, and I have a feeling, though, if I had started with this book, like if I had just picked up this book at random and didn't know it was part of a series and just started reading it, I probably would have never continued on with the series, but because I'm already 9 books in now, 10 technically if you count the fact that I did jump ahead and read book 26 in November or December, that I would have been sorely disappointed. So the mystery itself, the murder, does not take place till 40% of the way through the book. And it's a character that you meet and that you like and you're supposed to like. Like, she's very sweet and she's like a teacher's assistant and stuff like that. And you're like, oh my God, she's been murdered, you know. And usually the characters in cozy mysteries that end up being murdered are not likable characters. So of course they had to give her some traits as they started the investigation as to why she wasn't a great person. Not that she deserved to be murdered, but that she wasn't the person that the townsfolk thought she was. So that really disappointed me, that the actual lack of a mystery was kind of a huge deal. You know, and bits of Hannah start to annoy me as well. I don't know, for those of you who have read this series, she is very full of herself. Like, let's be real. She knows all the things. And, you know, she's talking to somebody and you get this thing from her perspective going, like, it's not told in first person, but you get something from her saying, you know, oh, and, you know, I wasn't going to correct him on his grammar or something like that. Like, who cares? You're having a conversation. Like, and then the other thing that drove me crazy throughout this one was technology. So Norman, who's one of Hannah's boyfriends, bought her a computer, like in the last book or something like that. She still hasn't set it up yet. And then in this one, he gets her a cell phone. And she acts like she's 1,001 years old. I don't even want to say 100 years old, because I'm sure there are tons of 100-year-olds who are just kick butt on an iPad or on a computer and know how to use a cell phone. But like, she was born in like another century. Like, oh my God, technology. She's 30 years old. Like, come on. The character, I feel, is written as being so much older than she actually is. And yeah, so, you know, there was just a few nitpicky things. Overall, like, I didn't hate it, but like I said, I think if I had ended up starting with this one in the series, I don't think I'd continue on with the series. But I've already built such a attachment to this town of Lake Eden and these characters, and a part of me does still kind of want to find out who Hannah ends up with. Now, from what I understand, I was spoiled a little bit that there is a wedding that happens much later in the series, and it's not to either of the guys that she actually is courting right now. So that's something. So a part of me is interested in seeing that. I don't necessarily read these per se for the mysteries, but more for the townsfolk, more to visit again with Lake Eden, you know, her mother Dolores and her sisters Michelle and Andrea, and her niece, and of course Mike and Norman. You know, like, you get to know this small town, and that's why I'm continuing reading them. And I think that's probably why a lot of people are continuing them, because in my opinion, personally, and those of you who do love this series as well, I don't know, am I just reading into this? Hannibal, yikes. Hannah is not the most likable character, to be honest. Like, she's not, I don't see her as someone that I would be friends with. Although I do have to say, in this, I said to my mom when I started listening to it, I'm like, oh my God, the recipes in this are fabulous. And I do want to get my hands on the Lake Eden cookbook. They did put out a cookbook of all the recipes, so I kind of need to get my hands on that one. But like, yeah, I will continue on with the series, again, because I'm invested up until this point. But if you are looking to start this series, don't start here. Start with book number 1. Start with the chocolate chip cookie murder. It's delightful. The next book that I finished, this one was part of the Book Sisters Book Club. This was our January pick, and this was An Alaskan Twin Surprise by Belle Calhoune. I gave this one 4 stars. This is book number 2 in a Home to Owl Creek series, and it's Love Inspired number 1284 in that series. So this one was really cute. This is a second chance romance, and it's about a couple by the name of Rachel and Gabriel, and they were engaged to be married. And they live in a small town in Alaska called Owl Creek. And a few days or so before the wedding, she decides she can't marry him because her father was also a pilot, and he was killed in a plane accident. Like, when he was landing the plane, something exploded and he died. And she actually witnessed it. So sorry about some spoilers and stuff like that. But anyway, she then Gabriel, a week or so before the wedding, he was in a minor, like, not an accident, but he had a really rough landing. So she got scared. She's like, I don't want to be worrying about him every time he goes out to work. You know, like, I lost my dad. I don't want to lose him the same way. So she ended up breaking off the wedding and leaving town for 3 years. Well, while she's away, she ends up meeting some rodeo guy and she gets pregnant. She has these two twin girls. And now she's back home because her mom has cancer and she's home. She's a registered nurse and she's home to look after her mother. So then it's her and Gabriel's relationship, of the two of them kind of rebuilding their relationship. This is an inspirational romance, but it was real. I love these. I mean, no, I'm not apologizing for reading them. I really enjoy reading them. They're fast. They're enjoyable. They tell a good story. They do have Belle Calhoune. This is the first one I think I've read by Belle Calhoune. She does not overindulge you with like scripture and faith and things like that. The characters, it's all very natural, like, oh, we're going through a very tough time, let's pray, that kind of an idea. And I can appreciate that 100% because whatever your religious beliefs are, you can kind of insert your own deity into these. And I think having some faith within your life is a good thing, regardless of what it is. Now, me personally, these are not my own personal religious beliefs, but I still appreciate them for what they are and the fact that these characters are very strong in their beliefs, and that's a good thing. And I really, really like that in these books. I enjoyed it. If you have not read any of Belle Calhoune's stuff yet, I highly suggest that you do. The first book in this series I have not read yet, but I want to go back and read it now. And it's about I think it made one of my Harlequin anticipated reads when it was released, maybe sometime last year. And it was about a woman who was kidnapped at birth and raised by a totally different family, and now she's found out that she had been kidnapped as an infant, so she comes back to Owl Creek to find her family. Like, I so need to read that one now. But yeah, really, really cute, highly enjoyable, and actually me, Brie, and Chloe all really liked it, so it was across the board 4 stars from all 3 of us, and yeah, I think that's the first one that we've had so far that we all really agreed on the book, so that's fantastic. And the last book, because I finished that one yesterday, so I'd only had 3 books, and I'm like, a 3-book week is still a good week, and yesterday was a huge reading day for me, like huge. I read the bulk of the Alaskan Twin Surprise book, because I was only about 75 pages into it on Friday night, so it's 125-ish pages, so I read like 150 pages of that yesterday, before the live show at 3 p.m. my time. And then after the live show, I was kind of here and my husband was at work and I didn't have really much to do. And when I'm sitting here at night, I like to watch BookTube and I like to knit. But I need to take breaks because if I just sit and knit too much, my arms and my hands and my shoulders start to bother me. So I need to take breaks. So generally what I do is I watch a BookTube video and then I read a chapter or so of a book. So I wanted something to read and I'm like, I don't necessarily, like, I was going to start the book that I'm reading now, but I'm like, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's see if I can finish a Babysitter's Club book by the end of the night. And I did. I flew through that in like, because I think I mentioned in another video in my Friday reads that I use Bookly. And I was, you kind of time yourself on how long it takes you to read them. I read it in like an hour and 10 minutes, like in total time. Because I'd pause it, watch a BookTube video, go back, hit, to time myself again, continue reading for a couple chapters, pause it, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, in a little over an hour I finished it, and they're such good fun. So the one I read was Stacey's Ex-Best Friend by Ann M. Martin, of course. I gave this one 3.5 stars. Babysitter's Club book number 51. So in this book, Stacey, who had moved from New York City to Stony Brook, invited her best friend from New York, Lane, to come and stay like for a week during like winter break. And Lane has changed. She is very snobby now. She acts much more grown up than she actually is. The girls are only 13, but she's dating some 15-year-old guy named King. She thinks that Stacey's friends are silly. She thinks that babysitting is silly. And I really like the message in this one that it shows how friendships can grow apart and how, you change as people, regardless of your age. And it's not just friendships, but relationships as well. My own personal experience, this really got me thinking about my own personal friendship with a girl that, I am still very good friends with. We met in grade 2. We were 7 years old. We're now going to be 42 this year. So that's a long-lasting friendship. But we were friends all through middle school or public school. And then when we got to high school, much like in this book, not saying that one of us became a mean person or anything, but we ended up kind of having separate interests and doing different things. And we kind of broke apart from each other and we didn't really talk for a number of years. And if we ran into each other, we weren't mean or nasty. It was just, hey, how are you doing? How's life? That kind of thing. And then it was in college that we ran into each other again and we started being friends again. We were in each other's weddings, like I was there throughout the pregnancy of both of her girls. I was like, listening to everything her complain about, how tired she was and, this, that, and the other thing. And, stuff that happened with her personally, I was there for when my dad died. She was actually outside of family, like my husband and my family. She was the first person I called because she had known my dad since she was 7. Her parents worked a lot out of the house. Her dad was a truck driver. Her mom worked for a big company. So her and her sister were kind of by themselves a lot. And she spent a lot of time here. She used to have a lot of Sunday or family dinners here. She'd sleep over a bunch. So she knew my dad almost as well as she knew her own in a way. And, but now because of COVID, we don't live that far away from each other. We're like a town over. We haven't talked since the summer, and I haven't seen her since last February at Dad's memorial service. But I guarantee you, if I picked up that phone today and called her, we would talk for 2 hours as if we talked yesterday. And that's an awesome friendship. We're not best friends anymore the way we used to be, maybe, but we're old friends, and I think that makes a difference. Sorry, I got off on a whole friendship rant here, but it just kind of shows you how your lives can change, and you meet new people, and, it's nice to not lose some of the old friendships of those people who have known you, way back when. So this book was really fun, and I really enjoyed that. It got me thinking a lot about my friend, and I'm like, I really need to text her and see how she's doing. So that's all the books that I read this week, you guys. So what am I currently reading? So I'm currently listening to Death by French Roast by Alex Erickson. This, I think, is the 8th book in the Bookshop Cafe Mystery Series. I've read one other in this series, and I'll be honest, I didn't particularly love it. But I have this one from NetGalley, so my library had it on audio, so I grabbed it. I'm only about 45 minutes into it. It's less than a 7-hour long audiobook. It's not going to take me too long to get through. It's essentially about, like, the cozy mystery premise of it, because it is a cozy, is about a girl who runs a bookshop / cafe, and she solves mysteries. And what I like about this one already is the fact that it's not a recent dead body. What she's investigating is a 30-year-old murder. I'm like, now that's kind of fun. I wish more cozies would do that. Like, wouldn't it be great to have a cozy mystery series based around someone who's, like, solving, like, cold crimes, essentially, like, stuff that's been, it just, I don't know, it just seems like something that an amateur sleuth would do. Like an armchair sleuth kind of an idea, right? Like, someone who is just interested in police work and stuff, and it's like, oh, I heard about this case when I was a kid, and I wonder whatever happened to it. Maybe I'll do a little research at the library and through the newspapers and see what I can figure out. Like, that, to me, makes more logical sense than a single character over the course of 28 books, Hannah Swenson series, running across dead bodies all the time in this tiny, tiny town in Minnesota. So now this is not the premise of the series. Usually it's a much more fresh dead body that she's running into. But in this case, in this book, it's a cold case. So far I'm enjoying this one already, and I'll see where this one goes, and I'll let you guys know, of course. And then the other book that I did start last night, just before I went to bed, because I did finish that Babysitter's Club book, and I do like to read at least, a few pages before I go to sleep. I did finally start. I'm so excited. Enjoy the View by Sarah Morgenthaler. This is the 3rd book in the Moose Springs, Alaska series. I do, of course, have a physical edition here. I did get this one from the publisher as an e-copy. It came out on the 19th of January, so just this week that passed. But I went ahead and ordered a physical copy because I have the first 2 books in the series in physical edition, and I wanted this one as well. So this is Easton's story. For those of you who have read the series, this is Easton's story, and it says on the back, a grouchy mountaineer, a Hollywood starlet, and miles of untamed wilderness. What could possibly go wrong? And it starts off right away. It starts off like, she has some of the best opening lines in books, I swear. It starts off by, picking up hitchhikers never worked out for Easton Lockett. It would start fine, but then things always got really weird really fast. I am only, not even 20 pages into this, and so far I'm already loving it. And yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to fly through this one over the next few days. So that's good, because my reading plans because we're coming to the end of the month, and I am currently at 12 books read for the month, which is really good. I'm really proud of myself for that. So if I can finish these two, that'll take me to 14. And then I have two more I want to read. I have another audiobook and another ebook, which would take me to 16 books this month. My goal is to get these two, plus the other two I want to read, done by Saturday, like done by Saturday night. So when I sit down here on Sunday, which is actually the 31st, I'm hoping to actually be starting February books. So, and I'll allow myself to kind of cross over that way. I'm not going to like read up till the 11th hour or try and squeeze in, something at the end of like the last day of the month. I'm just gonna, if I finish the next 4 books that I want to read, like these two and the other two, then I'll jump into February books, and that's totally cool and fine with me. So yeah, I am so far enjoying this one quite a bit. So yeah, Chatty Bits at the end, nothing incredibly exciting. I've been working from home still no word as far as I can tell of how long this lockdown is going to happen. But yeah, it's okay. I'm actually enjoying working from home. And yeah, it's good, especially because it's been so cold lately that I'm happy not to have to go out and warm up the car in the morning, and then when I leave the office at the end of the day, warm up the car again to come home. That's kind of a bonus in working from home. Yeah, but it's been busy, so that's a good thing. And I want to show off my earrings, you guys. These are from We One's Creations. My friend Mandy got them for me. They're llamas. I love llamas. Garrett and I were at Walmart on Thursday, and he bought me, can you see it right there? It's a llama. It's a stuffed llama. It's for Valentine's Day, but he's like, here, he bought it for me because, why not? So yeah, that's really about all, you guys. So videos coming up. I am shooting 2 videos as soon as I'm done shooting this one. So there will be 2 videos going up next week, plus a Friday Reads. I know I've been saying that for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I keep thinking, oh, I'm at home. I can take some time and film, but I don't have time. We're too busy. So I'm like, I just got to film my videos today and get them done. So coming up this week, the next video I'm filming is going to be my February pre-orders. So it's kind of like my anticipated reads, but these are actually books that I have put on pre-order and I'm looking forward to. And then after that, guys, my February TBR. I'm excited. I hope you're excited because I'm excited. And next weekend, just so you guys know, I am actually I'm filming a vlog next. I mentioned this briefly in my Friday Reads on Friday, but I am doing a vlog next weekend for 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'm looking forward to that too. But yeah, so that's about it, you guys. You really seemed to like the Friday Reads last week, so I'll probably do that again this week. I can sit down on a Friday morning and shoot a 10-minute video. That's no problem because there's minimal editing in it. But to do a full video, it takes a little bit longer. So anyway, I'm rambling. I'll let you guys go. Take care and happy reading, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.